Hello, let's continue our Sudoku adventure with Brötchen by SennyK. So, this is the last puzzle of the overflow sandwich puzzles from Sandwich Theme Week, which ended 2 days ago. I know that's not confusing at all. Anyway, so expect a non-sandwich puzzle tomorrow. Hopefully you've had your fill of sandwiches and not overfill. Anyway, let's go over the rules for this one. We have normal 6x6 Sudoku rules. So we have in each row, each column, and each 2x3 box, we are placing the digits 1 to 6 exactly once each. All the clues outside the grid are both sandwich and German sums. So, sandwich clues. So each of these, remember, they do double duty. But as sandwich clues, what that means is we're looking for the 1 and the 6 in the column. Like wherever the 1 and 6 are in this column, because this is a column clue. A row clue would use 1 and 6 in the row. But wherever the 1 and 6 are, the digits in between them will sum to the clue outside. So for example, this could be 2. Oops, this could be 2, 5. So 1, 2, 5, 6. Between the 1 and the 6, we have the 2 and 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. That matches our clue. In addition to that, they are German sum clues. So a clue outside the grid gives the sum of the first n digits, and we have to determine what n is, but it's the sum of the first n digits in that row or column from the direction of that clue. From the direction of the clue. Those n digits must form a valid German whispers line, where adjacent digits, so what that means is adjacent digits differ by 3 or more. So if this was a 2 and this was a 5, then notice that 5 minus 2 is 3. Those do differ by 3 or more. The first cell after this hidden German whisper line must contain a digit 2 or less apart, so a non-valid German whisper jump. A digit in the first cell next to the clue is always included. This okay, hold on. Yeah. So if we were to make this, say, a 3. So what we do here is we've got 2, 5. The 2 jumping to the 5, that is at least 3 different. So it's included in our sum. But then we hit the 3, and the 3 is not a valid jump. A 3 is a jump of 2, which isn't 3 or more. And so we'd gray that out in this, just in my coloring scheme here. And so now we just say, okay, well, the ones that were a valid line, we add them, 2 plus 5, and that sum is 7. And so this would be, if this was only a German sum, this would be a valid way to fill it. But remember, it's a German sum and a sandwich, so it has to fill both simultaneously. So it's saying, its example is 2, 6, 3, 1, 5, 4. Starting from the left, we always include the first digit. The next one jumps by 4, that's fine, we include it. The next one jumps by 3, that's fine, we include it. But then a jump to 1 is only a difference of 2, so we don't include that. Then we do 2 plus 6 plus 3, we get 11. So the clue would be 11 on the left side. On the right side, starting from here, we always include the 4, and then the 5 immediately is only 1 away, and so that would be a sum of 4 on the right side. All right, and that's it. Those are the rules. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself, and I'm going to get started right now. Okay. I'm interested in the fact that it's 5 on both ends here. So obviously the sandwich clue is 5, but also we need a German sum clue that's 5 on both ends. So what are the ways we can do 5? Well, if I use a 1, I could go to 4, and that would sum to 5. We can only sum to 5 in 2 digits, or 1 or 2 digits, I should say. We could do a 5 on its own, and then we just need a digit like a 6 or a 4 or 3. Those would be the ones, and that would define a 5. Or we could do 1, 4. Starting with a 2, the only way to get to 5 would be a 3, and those are too close. So basically, one of these ends is a 5 on its own, followed by something that's too close to 5, so 3, 4, or 6. And then we have another one that's a, let me do that down here, another one that's a 1, 4 pair in some order. Yeah, either order. And I think that's all that would work. And so this adds a 5, this adds 3 and 6, and then these both add 1, 4. Okay. So these are the options now, but we also need a sum of 5 between the 1 and the 6, which is not going to be a 5 on its own. It'll have to be a 2, 3 pair. It's not a 5 on its own because we know that one of these is a 5 on its own for our German sum. And so the middle it can't do 1 6 with a 5 in the middle. So we're gonna have to do 1 6 with a 2 3 pair in the middle. So whichever one of these has a 1, we know it's followed immediately by a 4, which breaks my idea. Okay, so none of them start with 1 then, right? If we start with 1, we need a 4 after it, and there's no way we could do a 5 sum in between the 1 and the 6. So these are never 1s. Now the 4 is going to always have a 1 next to it. So one of these is a 1, and then we've got a 2 3 pair in between, and the other is a 6. Okay. Right, so this is how this works out, these individual bi values. So we're from one end or the other. Let's just say we'd have 4, 1, and then a 2 3 pair, which you don't know the order, and then we'd have 6, and then we'd have 5, right? So on this end we'd have the 5 sum, and on this end we'd have the 5 sum. In between the 1 and 6 we have a 5 sum. But we could mirror that. We could go the other way, so we don't know which is which. Okay, that was kind of neat. Just in terms of sandwich, 7 can only be done in two cells. So like between the 1 and the 6, we can only do it in 2 cells. With 1 cell, we need a 7 in between, which doesn't exist in this puzzle. 3 cells, normally you can add the 7 in 3 cells, but not with sandwich clues because we can't use the 1. The minimum of 3 cells is actually 9 because the 1 is never part of the sum. So it's going to be 2 cells, and it's going to either be 2 5 or 3 4 in between because again we can't use the 1 for 1 6. And then the what's interesting about 7 is we have the 1 and the 6 add to 7. We have the whatever's in between the 1 and 6 add to 7. Whatever's outside the 1 and whatever's outside also add to 7. So it's 3 7 sums. But that doesn't really help. Now for the German sum, you know what I should do? I should look at this 10 next, and maybe this 9, maybe this 6. But we'll start with the 10. It's the biggest. Because we know this 4 5 is part of our 10 sum. Because the only way to add to 10 in 2 digits is 4 6, and those are not 2 apart, so they wouldn't actually work as a German sum. So we're looking at the German sum for 10. So we need to use 3 cells, or normally I could say we could use 4 cells, but 4 cells you have to do 1 2 3 4, and there's no way to do a German sum with 1 2 3 4 there. You're going to end up with and the reason I know that is something from German Whispers, which is if you want to preserve a difference of at least 3, if you're starting with a 1, 2, or 3, which we call a low digit, you have to move to a high digit, a 4, 5, or 6. Otherwise, there is no way between 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, you're going to have a difference of at least 3. It's just not possible. 1 to 3 is only 2. So you got to jump to 4, 5, 6. Once you jump to 4, 5, 6, you have to jump back to 1, 2, 3. There are additional restrictions within that, but at the very least, we can think of it that way. And so 4 digits with 1, 2, 3, 4, there's only 1 high digit, but we need 2 high digits for 4 cells in order to do every other. So that's not going to work. And so we're going to do 10 and 3, which means that this cell needs to be within 2 of the 4, 5. So I guess it's just not a 1, because we could do 4, 2, for example. But then these two, since this is high, this one also has to be high, and this one has to be low. This one's not going to be a 3, because it would be a double 6 around it. 3 only has 6 that can go next to it. And so if this was a 2, we'd know exactly that this was 5, 6. But 2 plus 5 plus 6 happens to not be 10. Happens to be 13. And so this is always going to be a 1. That makes that a 6. And now we can actually finish this, because this is the 5, this is the 1, this is the 4. Well, not finish, but we know which direction the German sums are. That's a 4, and luckily that does add to 10. Now this has to be close to 5. So it could be a 3. It can't be 4, because there's a 4 in the row. Or it could be 6. Basically, the 2 is out. This is 2, 3. This is 2, 3, 6. This is 1, 4, 5, which may be helpful for this. So 6, 1 is tempting. But no, 6, 1 doesn't work, because then our sandwich would be a sum of 0. So this is never going to be 6. So we'd have to do 2, 5 or 3, 4, but 3, 4 is not close enough. So it's 2, 5. That's our outie. This is 1, 6, and this is 3, 4. We kind of talked about that earlier. These aren't 5, that's not 2. All right. Very nice. Do I look at the 9 now? Probably. So 9 and 2 you also can't do. 9 and 2, sorry. 9 and 2 you can't do for a German sum because it's either 3, 6. Okay, you could have done 3, 6 until this 6 got placed. So I think I picked the right time to do it. 3, 6 would have worked because they are 3 apart, but we have a 6 in the row. We honestly, with 4 and 6 gone, we can't do 9 and 2 no matter what, even without the German sum rules. So this 4 gets included. So these two need to add to 5. They can't. So what am I doing wrong? We certainly can't do 9 and 4. 3, 6, 4, 5 don't work. This 4 is included. These add to 5. Normally, I would say we add to 5 with a 1, 4. Well, okay, so we can simply say that I must have made a mistake. Because, darn it, I did make a mistake. Because we're going to need one high in here, and the only high available is 5, and that's already going to add to 9 with our 4. So where did I make my mistake? It's got to be placing that 6 down there was the mistake. Oh, you know what it is? It's actually pretty simple. I don't know what made me decide that the 1 and 6 went in this order, but I should have had a 1, 6 pair there, and now we've actually proven that this can't be 6 by that 9 there. So this is 1 and this is 6. Okay. Oops. Okay, so well, I recovered. Over here now, we need these 3 to add to 9. If I were to use the 5 or the 6... No, okay. So if I tried to do it in 3, it wouldn't work, because I would have 2 highs, and the minimum is 4, 5 just for the highs, which is already 9. So I need to do that in 2 digits, which is only going to be the 3, 6. Okay, and 3, 6 is now possible. That means this is 2, 5. So down here, this is 2, 5, and up here, this is 3, 4, 6. All right. Now, between the 1 and the 6, we need to add to 9. It's clear that the way that that's going to happen is... because you... Oh, wait, hold on. Can I use the 2? Ooh, actually, I could do it. Sorry, I thought it was clear that we do 1, 6 here, and then this would be a 4, 5 pair. But we could actually do 1, 6 here and do 2, 3, 4. So I actually don't know how that resolves. Is this always the 5? No, it's not. This could be the 5 if that's the 6. Okay, never mind. We have the 6 here. Is there anything we haven't taken care of yet other than the 6? I don't think so. So the only way to do 6 and 3 is 1, 2, 3. So that's certainly not going to work for a German sum. We could do 6 on its own, which would actually resolve this, which is probably what happens. Or we could make these 2 add to 6. Now, adding to 6, 1, 5 is the only way that would work. We can't do 2, 4 because they're too close. So we're either a 6 here or a part of a 1, 5 pair. But this can't be the 1, so this would have to be the 5. Now, that means this would be a low no matter... well, not no matter what. If it was a 2-cell sum, we'd be 5, 1. And then the 2, 3 would end it, and that would be fine. If this was a 6, this would need to be a 4 or a 5, which also seems viable. So I have no idea what's going on there. One of these is always a 6, actually. So that doesn't work. Yeah. So this 6 saves us, right? We need a 6 in one of these 2 in this box. So if this was a 5, this would be a 6, and our German sum would be 5, not 6. So that's our 6, and then this is a 4 or 5, and that resolves our 3, 6 here, which gives us our 5 and 2 here. 3 in the corner. That's 2 and 3. We get 5 and 2. This is a 1. 1 is in one of these 2. I guess I don't know if I want to mark that or not, but I just did. That's 4, 5. Okay, so between the 1 and 6, we need to add the 6. So we better be here, because over here it's going to add to way more than 6. That's a 1. That's 4 and 1. Adding to 6 is going to be the 2 minimum here, 2 and 4. That's 5 and 3. So this is 3. This is 5. We need a 4 and a 2 and a 4. So that's 4. That's 2. That's a 4. These aren't 4. So clearly this 3, 6 gets resolved by either a German sum or a sandwich, right? Is it the 10? Oh, it's the 10 here. If this was a 6, then we'd sum to 5 in between. So this better be a 6, and we add to 10 in between. Okay, that's 6 and that's 3. What if I could have used that earlier? I'm not sure. Either way, I got there. Cool. Sorry about the mistake. I always regret making mistakes, not because it's like embarrassing or anything, but it's because sometimes people will pause and go, I don't understand why you placed that. And they'll leave a comment and they'll be all confused. And they just could have watched a couple more minutes and seen that I corrected my mistake. But it happens because sometimes, you're watching this to get a hint on how to continue. And I do something that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, it's the danger of making these live solves instead of like planned out walkthroughs. But I feel like the live solves are more interesting to watch. Anyway, let me know how you did, and if you enjoyed this, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.